Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, House Bill 694 is introduced by a local state representative. Hear from him and a superintendent about the impact it could have on teachers and administrators. And President Biden and former President Trump hold dueling events on the U.S.-Mexico border.
And enjoy the dry weather because showers are back by tomorrow. Those details coming up as Mountain News at 5:30 starts now.
Dedicated to Southern and Eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. As the legislative session pushes forward, a hot topic is increasing teacher pay. State Representative Chris Fugate recently sponsored House Bill 694, which would give all Kentucky teachers and administrators a one-time payment. WYMT's Olivia Calfee has more from Fugate about what he is calling a short-term solution.
House Bill 694 would give classified and certified employees in Kentucky school systems a one-time payment each August for the next 2 years.
House Bill 694 would give the classified personnel or employees of the school systems $1,000. It would give the certified employees, the teachers. It does not include superintendents. It would give all certified employees $2,000 this August.
And it is a bill Representative Fugate says he believes will stand as a short-term solution while legislators find something long-term, saying the current SEEK formula does not give rural school districts the funding to increase teacher pay more than 1 or 2%.
It would be kind of a one-time check this year and next year that would help those that are working to have extra money in their pocket until hopefully we can redo some of the SEEK formula that would allow us to put the monies in SEEK to give the raises that our teachers and employees deserve.
Hazard Independent Schools Superintendent Sandra Combs says she appreciates the work lawmakers are doing in Frankfort, but a quick long-term solution is crucial.
If you look at it, our average starting salary is $38.10. Around us, it's at least $10,000 more than that, just for a starting teacher. We had someone from Florida want to come here. Well, it would have been a $25,000 cut in pay. You know, it's just, we would like to be competitive. You know, we lose good teachers to businesses because they can make so much more moving professions.
And Representative Fugate says ongoing talks for a teacher raise have continued since the session began. And he felt House Bill 694 would be the best short-term solution in the interim.
We've got a lot of work to do. You know, we'll just keep working on House Bill 694 to see if we can get it across the finish line and get the teachers and other employees, you know, bus drivers, editors, cooks, and all those, you know, some type of relief.
In Perry County, Olivia Calfee, WYMT Mountain News.
Fugate says Representative Timmy Truitt of Jackson County is in the process of forming a work group that will look at the SEEK formula to see what adjustments can be made to help rural areas.
Well, the weather isn't terrible on this Thursday. Most of us are dry under some sunshine, but cooler. Here's a live look from Southwest Virginia from UVA-wise. That current temperature down to 37 degrees on this Thursday. Most of us in the middle to lower 40s, down to 42 in Pikeville, 45 in Jackson, 44 in London, and 47 for Manchester, also in Harlan at this hour. And again, we should be in the lower 50s, so we are below average on this Thursday, but we see some above average weather by this weekend. Up on first alert pinpoint Doppler, all thanks to high pressure. We are dry on this Thursday, but notice as we zoom out, we are tracking our next rainmaker over Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, or Arkansas, not Nebraska. That will continue pushing off to the north and east as we go into portions of late tonight, also on Friday, and those rain chances also set to increase as we go into your Friday. We are dry this evening, though, also chilly. Low temperatures are close to freezing as you wake up on Friday in the middle to lower 30s, but we see some 60s and 70s by this weekend. Those details coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Cameron, thank you. Congress appears to have avoided a partial government shutdown, at least for now. The House voted earlier this afternoon on a stopgap bill that will kick the deadline to pass a full budget for the year further into March. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer expects his chamber to vote on the continuing resolution by this evening. The new deadlines to pass bills to fund various sectors of the government are now March 8th and 22nd. Both President Biden and former President Trump are at the U.S.-Mexico border in Texas holding dueling events about immigration. A record number of migrants were arrested at the border last year, and new polling finds immigration is the #1 issue for Americans. CBS's Ed O'Keefe has the latest from Brownsville, Texas.
Former President Donald Trump arrived in Eagle Pass, Texas, where state agents have turned a city park into a militarized zone to stop migrants from crossing the border. Texas has also banned federal border agents from the area.
A very dangerous border. We're going to take care of it. Thank you.
President Biden is also on the border in Brownsville, about 325 miles away on the Rio Grande. For nearly a decade, it was the busiest corridor for illegal crossings. Both President Biden and the man who wants his job have different visions of America's immigration system, and the issue is expected to be a central one in the 2024 campaign. A record 2.4 million migrants were apprehended at the border in the 2023 fiscal year. Republicans say they're bringing drugs and crime and are to blame for last week's murder of a University of Georgia nursing student.
Liar! Liar!
Wednesday, the mayor of Athens, Clark County, Georgia, was heckled as he tried to counter claims that his region offers sanctuary to migrants. In New York, Mayor Eric Adams wants to modify laws that make New York a sanctuary city following a series of crimes allegedly committed by migrants.
Let me tell you what's really inhumane is what's happening on the federal level. New York City didn't create this crisis. Not only is it a financial burden, but it is also a burden to the quality of life.
President Biden blames Republicans for holding up funding designed to stem illegal border crossings. Recent attempts to pass a bipartisan deal were blocked by Republicans under pressure from Trump. Ed O'Keefe, CBS News, Brownsville, Texas.
Earlier today, a federal judge in Austin blocked Texas state officials from implementing a sweeping immigration law that would have allowed them to arrest, jail, and prosecute migrants crossing into the U.S. illegally. The Justice Department and the ACLU challenged the law known as SB 4, which was set to take effect next week. The federal judge in E. Jean Carroll's defamation case is expected to make a decision soon on former President Trump's request to delay the $83 million judgment. Carroll told the judge he should not be given more time to post the money she was awarded, calling Trump, quote, the least trustworthy of borrowers. A final verdict was made on February 8th, giving Trump 30 days to pay out the damages award of $83.3 million. The Biden administration is becoming concerned that Israel may launch a ground incursion into Lebanon. Officials familiar with the intelligence say that's what Israel has planned in the coming months if diplomatic efforts fail to push Iran-backed militant group Hezbollah back from the northern border with Israel, and that any incursion could lead to a major escalation. Senator John Cornyn of Texas announced he's officially throwing his hat in the ring to be the next Republican leader of the U.S. Senate. Of course, this comes in the wake of Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell's announcement about stepping down later this year as Senate Republican leader. In Cornyn's announcement, he says he intends to play a major role in fixing the broken Senate. Cornyn is a member of the Senate Finance, Intelligence, and Judiciary committees. The man seen in a viral video leaping over a bench to attack a judge pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. Deabra Redden is facing a slew of charges, including attempted murder, battery on a protected person, and extortion. In the January incident in Las Vegas, Nevada, it happened when the judge was about to sentence the 30-year-old man for battery. He was later sentenced by that same judge to 19 months to 4 years in prison. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says the people who were involved in sex trafficking with the late Jeffrey Epstein should face justice. DeSantis signed a bill today calling for the release of grand jury documents, including the 2006 Florida investigation into Epstein. In a written statement, DeSantis says the Epstein grand jury documents meet the bill's conditions, which means they can be authorized for release once HB 117 goes into effect on July 1st. Cars are becoming more and more high-tech these days. They link to your phone, have GPS, and smart driving capabilities. but all that convenience could make us susceptible to hacking. To combat cyber attacks through cars down the road, the Biden administration is now launching an investigation into Chinese-made car technologies. They're specifically looking at how data obtained through GPS and listening devices could be used by foreign adversaries.
When there are countries who are not friendly to the U.S. or may want to harm the U.S. or U.S. citizens, then that can become a problem, because that means that they now have access to all of that data about you and your vehicle, but also about all the infrastructure that your vehicle may connect to, and that can become a national security risk.
They say the objective of the investigation is to better understand the technology and where that data goes. Their main focus, newer cars with autonomous or semi-autonomous systems. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, the FDA issues a warning to consumers looking to buy online weight loss products, what you need to know to avoid potentially dangerous items.
Plus, warm weather is on the way for the weekend. Your first alert forecast after this break.